Hello, and welcome to the Innovative Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Isolde Trachtenberg. This is the second episode in the series all about how, if you're entering the gig economy and you're interested in living the gig life, how do you work with talent agents? I am going to be detailing all of this stuff. Primarily, right now, I'm focused on performers. If you're a musician, if you're a caricaturist or artist or a juggler or a dancer, and you want to know what to do to work with agents in a way that will get you the gigs you want, these are the episodes you're going to want to listen to. This is episode 2 in the series. Working with Agents 1 was last week. Hopefully, this will be helpful to you. Today, I'm going to be talking about demos, what you need in a demo. I'm going to probably focus on music and musicians, but I think it's going to be helpful to anybody who's interested in being in the gig economy, what you need in your demo, what you need in your headshot in order to start developing that crucial relationship with agents. Before I go into all of that, though, here are the things to think about. You're going to need to know what kind of relationship you want with agents. You're going to need to know who are the agents in your area that you want to submit to. And if you live in an area where there are a lot of different agencies, you can submit to a lot of different agencies. If you are the kind of person who thinks, well, you know what, I can travel anywhere. I am happy to go anywhere somebody wants to book me, then you can feel free to submit to all of these different agencies. For example, my voiceover agent is down in Atlanta. I have signed with a talent agency down there. And voiceover is a little different because I can go through and record in my home studio a lot. I don't need to necessarily be on site in order to record voiceover. Now, if they were to say to me, hey, we need you to travel, and they paid for travel, that'd be great. If they don't pay for travel, then you have to sort of offset. Are you getting paid union rates or non-union rates? Is it worth it for you to buy the plane ticket or hop in your car and go? These are all things you're going to have to figure out for yourself as you develop relationships with different agents. I work with agencies all over the country and a few worldwide. When they need me, I'm absolutely happy to work with them. Usually for voiceover, certainly, I don't have to leave my home studio, but sometimes they want you to go into a studio and work, and you have to decide whether or not you're cool to do that. So one of my voiceover agents is down in DC because I used to live and work down in DC and Maryland, and because of COVID and because of the proliferation of home studios, now I can just do it most of the time. I can just record where I am and then send them the files, and they're perfectly happy to do that. So you're going to have to decide for yourself who you are as far as talent, and then you're going to develop the relationship with agents. So this is the question now. Who are you as talent, right? If you want to join the gig economy as talent, you need to know what your skills and talents are. So you need to do sort of evaluate for yourself, what can you do? Are you a great writer? Are there agencies in the area who are looking for comedy writers or jingle writers or things like that? Are there companies that are looking for that? Are there publishing or advertising agencies that are looking for that? You might be able to hook up with them and get work freelance or side hustle, or if that's what you want to do forever and ever, amen, you can do that too. It's all part and parcel of the same thing. If, on the other hand, you want to be talent like voice talent or acting talent or dancing or tarot card reading or juggling or other face painting, caricatures, whatever it is you want to do, you need to decide whether or not you're good. Really, this is not I'm not going to mince words. If you're not very good at it, get good before you submit to agents, because your first submission to an agent is going to be the impression they have. You can be awesome to begin with, and they're going to always treat you that way. If you're just kind of good to begin with, you're going to have a lot of trouble convincing them that you have improved. So build your skills before you create your demos. And this is not to say don't get work. Of course, try to get work, but you might start with something small. Here's what I did when I first started doing professional tarot reading many, many moons ago. I walked in to friends' parties with a deck, and I would say, hey, I'm here, and I'm going to be doing free tarot readings all night. Of course, I checked with my friends first, right? This was in college, and And I would check with friends and go, hey, is this cool? And I would set up a little table in the corner, and anybody who wanted a reading, they were free. And it was a way to build my skills. And I've been doing this kind of reading for 30 some odd years now. And it's because I got a big skill set in reading. I can do palm readings, I can do tarot readings, I can do crystal readings, I can do astrology, I can do all sorts of things. And in the gig economy, if that's what you want to be doing, having an array of things that you can do is great. I didn't start out being good at it. I had to build those skills. So giving away a bunch of readings for free helped me do that. It helped me figure out how to tell the stories. It helped me figure out how to give both good news and bad news, because people ask me all the time, well, I don't want to hear good news. What are you going to do if there's bad news? And I mean, I don't want to hear bad news. You knew what I meant. And I say to them, well, part of my job is to tell you what challenges lie ahead, not because I'm being a horrible person, but because forewarned is forearmed, right? The more you know, the better prepared you can be to meet the challenges you're going to be facing. So that's my take. You might find if you decided to go into the gig economy as a reader of any sort, you might find you want to go a different route. But that's the way I look at it. I look at, quote, bad news, unquote, as it's a challenge to be met. And the key is to prepare yourself for that challenge. And that's part of what I'm doing there. And usually I'm working corporate events or parties, things like that. And, usually it's for fun. But there are times when something comes up and we have to get serious. In the middle of a raucous party with a DJ spinning tunes, I'm still going to give my best to them, and I'm still always going to be honest, right? All of my clients know I never lie in readings. The same thing happens with holiday caroling. When I'm out there and I'm performing, I'm giving my best every second. And yeah, I have a pretty wide array of talents, if you will, or skills. So I could be going to a tarot card reading gig one day and a holiday caroling gig another day. That's entirely possible. In fact, that's happened. You do Halloween, and the very next day, November 1st, is your first holiday caroling gig of the season. So that has happened. And so you have to sort of keep yourself to yourself. You have to know who you are. You have to know what your skills are. And then you have to develop demos that are unique to each skill set. So don't try to be, I do tarot reading, and I do singing, and I do this, and I do that, and da, 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 da. They'll go, yeah, you're not really good at anything. So what I advise everybody I talk to about finding agents in this way to do is to pick one, right? I didn't start out going, well, I can do this and that and this and this. When I started working with talent agents, I told them I could do tarot readings. That's it. I didn't mention palmistry. I didn't know how to do palmistry. That's a funny story altogether. So let me tell you this story. It's actually quite amusing and a little harrowing. So I was living in Maryland at the time, and I got a gig down near Richmond at a lumberyard of all things to do tarot card readings. That's what my contract said. I brought all my stuff. I brought my cards. I'm ready to go. And I get there, and I say to the person who's my contact, where do I set up? And she goes, set up for what? And I said, for the tarot card readings. And she went, I don't want tarot card readings. And I went, okay, that's what I'm supposed to be doing here. And she said, no. I said, yeah, there's my contract. She said, that's not what I want at all. And I said, what do you want? She goes, I don't want you to be a tarot card reader sitting at a table all night. I want you to be doing walk around readings, and I want them to be palm readings. And you have to understand something. I had never done a palm reading in my life. So I called the agent, and I'm like, oh my stars, I don't know what to do. I don't do palm readings. I have no idea how to do palm readings. And she said, please do the best you can. Because I was 2.5 hours away from home, right? There was no way that night to be able to do that. And when I had checked in with her, because that's a best practice, check in with your client, she didn't say anything about palm readings. I didn't ask because my contract said tarot card readings. So when I called, I said, where do I park? Where do I show up? Blah, 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 blah. She gave me all the information. I thought I was good to go. And then when I get there, I find out I'm required to do palm readings, which I have never done before in my life. Now, this is in the days before smartphones. So there might have been Google, but it was too new and I didn't have any idea how to do it. And I did have an app on my handspring visor. That should tell you something. That was a palm reading app. And I had been meaning to look at it and had never looked at it. So I went into the bathroom, sat down, opened the app, learned which was the lifeline, which was the heartline, which was the headline, got a couple of very other basic things in my head, and then got into my costuming, went out and did 4 hours of palm reading, walk around, and killed. And it was really interesting because she was shocked and amazed and happy. She also, the booker for the job, also happened to be the DJ at the party that night. And she was thrilled with what happened. And the big boss, I had read him and he was delighted and loved it and all this other stuff. And she said, I thought you said you didn't do palm readings. And I said, you know what? I didn't up until tonight. And so you never know when you might realize you have skills you didn't know you had. So when I talked to the agent again, I said, hey, Karen, you can put palm reading on my list of skills. If somebody wants a palm reader, I'm right here to do it. And she said, wait, I thought you didn't do palm readings. And I said, I didn't until tonight. And it turns out one modality is a lot like another. So then I incorporated palm readings into what I do. And in fact, often what I do at jobs, when I'm doing this stuff, I go out there and I say, hey, I can do, if I'm booked to do palm readings, I'll say, yes, I'm happy to do palm readings. But then I can also do tarot readings. So when people sit down, I go, which would you like, cards or hands? And they say, huh? And I explain and they choose one. And people are delighted because they get choices and they have more say in what happens. And we all have a wonderful time and it's fun. And so this is my long-winded way of saying you need to know what your skill sets are. And don't be like me and discover it the day of. Read your contracts carefully, and that's going to be a whole other episode altogether about contracts and negotiations. We're going to do that. But the whole point of this story was figure out what your skill set is. Start with one, and then when you're ready to incorporate others, let the agents know. And this gets me to the next piece of this is the demo. Now, the problem with something like tarot cards or palm readings or whatever, you almost never have a demo. And most of the time, people aren't interested in you video recording their reading, right? That's a private thing. So what I did instead was to offer readings to the agents. I literally said, hey, I will come to your office and I will read any of the agents you want me to read, and for free, just so you can see my skills. And they went, great. So that's what I did. I went and I did for about 5 of the agencies in my area. I just went and spent a few Saturday afternoons going and reading for all of the agents so that they could see what I do. And I set myself apart in some ways because I have a lot of different modalities I can do, but I also bring cool fabrics and set up atmosphere with crystals and things like that. So no gig is normal or boring when I come in. I've set myself apart. So I also took great photos of my setup. And that's another thing I do before and after photos that I send to agents so that they know what they're going to be getting, because I charge more than other people and I'm worth it. And the reason I'm worth it is, yeah, I know what I'm doing when it comes to the modality, but I also set myself apart with the way I decorate and how I approach the clients as someone who's going to be a collaborator. So I'll find out the color scheme, for example, and I'll bring fabrics that'll match the color scheme, but they're all shimmery and exciting. So all of this stuff is a way to set yourself apart. If you are doing caricatures, you can caricature for the agents. You can actually come in and go, hey, this is it. And I know it's free work, but I also know that it's an investment in your future if you're looking to work in the gig economy as any kind of artistic talent. So you can do that. You can also have a portfolio of your caricatures. For example, take a picture of the person if they let you, and then a picture of their caricature and put them together in a little portfolio, and you can send that out or you can make it digital. If you're a juggler, yeah, you're going to need some sort of a demo of you juggling. If you're a trick juggler, then you need a demo of you doing trick juggling. If you're a comedy juggler, you're going to need performance video of you juggling and entertaining while at the same time making people laugh. If you're a singer, the same thing. They want to know, agents want to know what they're hiring before they hire you, and so do clients. Very important. If you have a demo that in the end doesn't sound anything like what you sound like live, that's going to suck for you, for the agent, and ultimately for the client. You want to be someone who is very authentic and true about what you're capable of. So if your demo sounds awesome, but you don't, when you're live, people are going to be able to tell, and you're not going to get booked for repeat business. And that's one of the things that's so important when working with agents. you want repeat business. I get booked year after year after year for the same holiday caroling gigs because the clients love the Philosopher's Tones. They're like, yay, you all are great. We want you back next year. How do we make that happen? And we also set ourselves apart there too. But the point is that new clients are great. Repeat business is better because you have this rapport that you've built, a relationship with the client, and the agents know that they can keep recommending you. So the more gigs you do where the clients are happy, the more the agents are going to recommend you. And that's one of the things that happens with the Philosopher's Tones. Agents know that I'm their go-to, and they know the kind of quality they're going to get if they book me. Part of how they know that is that they have my demo. So let's talk about the demo. What needs to be in a demo? It depends a little bit, actually, because, again, as I said, with like tarot card readings or other things like that, you really can't give a demo unless you go give a live demo. Unless you get someone's permission, I guess, too. But I have never had anybody jump up and down and go, yes, you can record me getting my reading. I've had people record them and post them and tag me, but I have not done it because it's confidential. On the other hand, if I'm talking about a singing demo, say, you want something that's going to highlight you as if you were playing in a stage performance. Don't go for the overproduced studio version of your demo unless you can deliver those goods at gigs. That's a really important distinction. If you can't deliver the goods at gigs, you're going to get maybe one gig, but you won't get repeat gigs, as I said. So a demo should be no more than a minute. I know. It's crazy. We used to be able to have demos of 3 minutes long, 2 minutes long. People don't watch for that long. Make it about a minute. Make it reflective of the sort of array of your show. So, for example, for the caroling demo, I don't just do all secular songs. I don't just do all religious songs. I will come up with about 8 or so different songs and about 7 to 8 seconds of each song of us being video recorded singing in costume. I put the very best thing we do first. I put the second best thing we do last. And then I put all the other stuff in the middle. Why? Because what ends up happening is they'll go to the first thing. They'll go, oh, this is cool. And then they'll go to the very end. They will almost never listen to the stuff in the middle, which, it is what it is. Sometimes if you wow them, they'll listen to the whole thing. But most often, first and last, or first and almost last, like the last 20 seconds or something like that, they'll listen to, they'll watch. And that's the thing. It's almost always you're going to have video. So with us, with the Philosopher's Tones, I gave them lots of different 4 and 3 person configurations, all in our little Victorian costuming, singing our best and our second best and all the rest of our best stuff, about 7 or 8 seconds each piece. With other performance demos, like if you're acting, I'll be honest, I'm going to have to get some of my friends who are actors to talk about it, but you definitely want the same kind of thing. You want to have, there's this whole litany of things like put the, if you don't have a camera, put the iPhone on someone else's shoulder so that you are talking, but you're talking sort of being video recorded as if you are talking to the person, and give a range there too. If you do accents, give a range. Voiceover demos are the same. Give a range of emotions, a range of styles, a range of accents, if that's what you do and you do it really well. Don't bother doing accent demos if you're just sort of able to kind of do the accent. That's not going to work. You have to be bang on the accent or do not add it in. It's much better to be great at one thing than to be half-assed at 4, I promise. So no longer than a minute. Make sure that you have 2 versions of your demo. For example, I have a demo that's on our website that has all my contact information. Agents don't want that. They want what they call agent-friendly demos. And an agent-friendly demo is going to have you, perhaps your name, but no contact information, no website, no phone number, nothing. That's what you give to the agents. And what's interesting is with the days of Google, there's an integrity thing to be sort of had here. If the client sees your name, they could seriously go, oh, thanks so much, and then go and Google you and then try and book you. And your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to not take those gigs, right? If you know that a potential client heard about you from an agent, do the right thing, work with the agent. What ends up happening is the agent books you and they take their cut because they're the ones who did the introduction. If someone is dishonest and doesn't tell you that they did that they listened to the demo and then they tried to find you themselves, you won't know. But if they do, if they let it slip, and most often they do, they'll kind of go, well, I heard you from XYZ talent agency, but I thought I'd just cut out the middleman and contact you myself. And the problem with that is that it's dishonest, right? It's not a good way to do business. If the client learns about you from an agent and they tell you, if they don't tell you, you don't know, that's not on you. But if they tell you, it is incumbent on you to go, actually, since you heard about me from XYZ talent agency, we need to work through them because the integrity piece has to be there, right? And then one of the things that happens is the agents find out and they're more likely to work with you if they know that that you've got their back, That's a big part of this, is be authentic, be real, be trustworthy, have integrity, because then agents are going to work with you. If they don't see that you have integrity, they're not going to work with you. They've got other people who can do what you do. Unless you set yourself apart, unless you're Adele, they're going to just go find someone else who can do it. That's it. It would be really nice if we lived in the land where agents chase talent. We don't live in that land. They will go find someone else. Simple and easy. They will just go find someone else. So be super cool with your agents. Treat them well. Be respectful. Send them the demos. And send them agent-friendly demos so that there's no identifying stuff on there, so that they can feel free to show those demos to clients or prospective clients. Because frankly, if you have identifying marks on your demo, they're just never going to show it to a client. They just won't. There's no reason for them to, right? And it would be nice if we could all trust that if you get contacted, that you will refer back to the agent. But they don't. And there have been enough, I guess, times where someone hasn't been cool about that and hasn't gone, actually, you should go through the agent because that's how you heard about me, that there's a reason for them to go, yeah, I will only work with people who have integrity. And they should only work with people who have integrity. So bear that in mind. So if you're doing this kind of demo thing, no more than a minute nowadays, have it agent-friendly. Have it highlighting you beautifully as much as possible with good lighting. And natural light works, by the way. You can be outside and have natural light if you're doing any kind of a vocal demo or juggling demo or whatever. You can absolutely do that. Natural light and good audio. Make sure they can hear you. And if you have live recordings of you doing something, particularly if you can include audience interaction or audience sort of appreciation for what you do, that's even better. One of the things that you want to make sure that they know about you is that you care about your client and you care about the audience. If you just stand there and you just play and you don't really give a crud about the audience, they won't want to book you. But if you show that you care about their audience, you care about their clients and customers, if you will, then they're going to want to work with you, and it's going to be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Alrighty, so next time, I'm going to talk about, once you have your demo, once you have sort of that relationship established, we're going to talk about how to establish the relationship between you and the agent. I already talked about how you can contact the agency and go, hey, because it's readings, for example, I can't give you a demo, but I would love to come and read for your agents and so you can see. And sometimes agencies, by the way, have showcases, so you can see if you can get in on a showcase also. The same thing with NACA, which is the College Association of Entertainers, essentially, the people who, all of the different student groups who book college entertainment get together, and there used to be, I don't know if they still are, but they used to have these big conferences, and you could go and showcase to perform at colleges, to work at colleges in that way. So there are lots of different avenues for you. We're going to talk about all of them, but next time we're going to talk about, once you have a demo, how you reach out to an agent, what you need to do. Alrighty, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Innovative Mindset Podcast. Again, if you're looking to join the gig economy in this way, these are the starting steps you want to look at. We're going to be talking more about the NACA. We're going to be talking more about how to negotiate with agents and clients, what to put in contracts, what not to put in contracts. There's a lot of stuff that we still need to cover, and I hope that you are getting something out of it. And if you are, I would love to hear about it. But also, one of the things that I do is I can evaluate demos for you, and I can evaluate pitches for you. So you can contact me and we can get something on the books if you want to have your demo evaluated for whether or not it's ready to be sent to an agent. We can work together. That would be really cool. So contact me at isoldat.com/contact if you want to know more about how we might be able to do that. This episode has been brought to you by Brain.fm. It's my favorite app. You know this if you've listened to the show at all. And you can get your 20% off if you decide that you want to try it. There's a free trial, but if you decide you want to actually buy it, you get 20% off with my little coupon. Go to brain.fm/innovative mindset, and innovative mindset, all one word, is the coupon code, and it's an affiliate link, so I'll get a little bit of money too if you decide to do this. All right, cool. See you next time, and until then, be bold, be creative, and most of all, be kind. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. Please subscribe to the podcast if you're new, and it would mean the world to me if you told a friend about it. Today's episode was produced by Isolde Trachtenberg and is copyright 2021. As always, please remember this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Past performance does not guarantee future results, although we can always hope. Until next time, remember to be bold, be creative, and most of all, be kind.